Hey folks, back again, at it again, with the 7 aspects again, focusing on the 7 things that comprise of the vehicle that you need to constantly, maintain and upgrade. And if there's any trouble, you can making it easy for you to troubleshoot. Talking about the 7 aspects, we focus on the 7 aspects of life in this channel. The reason why 7 aspects exist, and is because the reason why I'm making this channel, the reason why I have videos on this channel, the reason why I call it the 7 aspects is because of little brief history for those who may be watching this my videos for the first time. Is me living when I was younger, teenager, in my younger years, living life cluelessly, not understanding how life works, and even worse than that is thinking that and then living a life of making mistakes because you think and getting rudely awakened by a consequence that you didn't expect to happen because you're trying to follow something that you thought was right but wasn't. So thus the existence of the 7 aspects of life. So me out there while I'm younger, getting tired of being clueless, I start searching for knowledge, for understanding, applying what it is that I'm learning, most of it anyway, getting better at applying it. And then the 7 aspects just kind of emerge, me not even planning to have 7 aspects that would govern the vehicle that we all use to help us to minimize the distractions that we experience while we're living and serving our purposes, while we're chasing our dreams, while we are trying to achieve our goals. So these 7 aspects being the spiritual aspect of your life, the soul aspect of your life, because we all have a soul, your physical aspect, your financial aspect, your social aspect, how you interact with yourself first, and then how you interact with others, the renewal aspect. That's when you figure out the best way that you can rejuvenate yourself, recharge your batteries. We kind of like phones, in a way, and last but not least, the duplication aspect, where you learn how to teach others what you're learning, especially if you have kids or the younger generation who are close to you, so that way they don't have to start at the same level you started with. They can start at an advantage because you've been there, done it, and got the t-shirt, and you understand things better than they do. Sometimes it could be adults too who might be clueless, but the difference between young adults or your kids when they're small is that with the children, they're teachable, they're easy to teach. Well, when it comes to adults, they have to want what you have. You can't force them. With the kids, they're like open shelves in the library, ready to be filled with books. So obviously, you gotta be careful what you fill them with. So that's the thing with the adults. I'm always looking for people who are looking for me. With the kids, I'm just gonna pour it into them because they are ready to learn. Now, this video is about the 2 aspect of life, because the previous video I talked about the 1 aspect, which is the spiritual aspect of life. Now we on to the 2nd one, and the 2nd one is your soul. Right, your soul. We all hear the word soul all the time. So the soul is the part of you that's in between your spiritual body and your physical body. This physical body. So that's the that's what sits in. It's like a mediator. It's like the media. Your spirit communicates with your physical body through your soul, and vice versa. Your physical body communicates with your spiritual body through your soul. So what is your soul? Your soul is you. There's a holy scripture say that what will it benefit a man if he loses his soul and gains the whole world? So what that really means is why lose yourself? What would be worth losing you to a bunch of material stuff that will eventually diminish in value anyway? So the thing is that we need to like be more concerned on how to prosper our souls, because when you prosper at the level that your soul prospers. So when your soul prospers, then you start prospering on the external side of things. So you have this internal world, and then you have an external world, but the internal world reflects the external world. The internal world controls the external world. For example, if whatever it is that you think about all day, you manifest, eventually. If you're constantly thinking of negative things, then that could even end up turning into a disease or something. If you're always positive, chances are people on the outside will notice that, and you could just examples I'm just throwing examples out there. You could end up like attracting more friends if that is something that you would like. So whatever you have on the inside eventually manifests on the outside. If I'm angry on the inside, it'll show outside on my face, and people around me will feel it, and they either want to get away from me or maybe try to find out what the problem is. So the soul is also divided into sublets. The soul is general, but there's sublets to it. So one of the subsections of the soul is your mind. You have a mind, and you have a will. Another subsection is your emotions, or people call it feelings. And then you also have where you make decisions at. So these are amongst many others that people have mentioned. This is just the few that are common, that when you Google you'll find, or when you search for people who are actually study these things will tell you. Actually the science world right now, scientists are starting to accept the fact that we do have a soul, and there's some of them who are actually doing research on it. They're calling it the funny thing, they're calling it the imaginary energy. Some scientists called it that anyway. So what your soul is that's what it is, and for your soul to prosper, you have to work on these sublets. You have to work on your mind. Like when it comes to your mind, you have to start there's a very smart person who says sometimes you have to start unlearning things that you learned in the past that were not good for you, and replace them with knowledge and understanding that works better for you. When we're growing up, sometimes we learn things that eventually become detrimental to us when we grow up, but we don't realize it sometimes until it's much later. So we should constantly, that's what I do. I constantly search to see if there's anything that I might think that is right but probably isn't, and replace it with what is right. And so it's called renewing your mind. The Holy Scripture calls it renewing your mind, constantly exchanging, renewing, shedding the old way of thinking and adopting the new way of thinking. Affirmations, constantly thinking positive thoughts, because they say as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you make yourself think positive thoughts, then the outcome will be exactly that. Just like if you plant oranges, you'll get oranges as a result. Now, that's how the mind works. Now, when it comes to emotions, the emotions are the results of what you're thinking. If you're thinking, if right now you started thinking of a loved one, it could be a girlfriend, maybe your wife, maybe your daughter, your son, your grandchild, whoever it is that's a dear one to you, it could end up putting a smile on your face regardless of where you are. Just their thought might even brighten your face. Your eyes might have a little glitter, they might start glittering. They might have a little shine in them because you just had this thought that gave you a feeling that turned into an external evidence. So anytime you have a feeling, that's just an indicator. For example, if your car doesn't have enough gas, you have that gauge that tells you like it's on E. By the way, E doesn't mean enough, it means almost empty. So if it's on E, then it's just an indicator to let you know that you need to add gas to your gas tank. So your feelings are an indicator of whatever it is that you're thinking about. If you're thinking negative thoughts, then you'll have dark feelings. If you're thinking happy thoughts, you'll have a happy feeling. For example, if you see a beautiful smiling baby, you will think beautiful smiling baby, and that will make you feel good inside. Now if you see an ugly situation where maybe two people are fighting, and you'll think, oh, two people fighting, and it'll give you the feeling that's attached to that thought. So if you want to start feeling better, start changing the way you think. So if we didn't have feelings, you really wouldn't realize what you were thinking. And you see, sometimes you could have things in your subconscious mind. Oh, this is another thing I should have mentioned. Your mind has the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious is it's almost like the mind that you're constantly using, as you live your daily lives. As you do daily activities, it kind of helps you to do the daily activity living. And then the subconscious is the things that are like on autopilot. Things maybe that you've repetitively done that have finally had like a permanent path in the synapses of your brain. And sometimes the thoughts that you're not aware of can give you a feeling, and that's a mysterious feeling, and you could start wondering where did this feeling come from? It was probably in your subconscious, or maybe it was a subliminal message that sometimes we see without knowing, and ends up giving you this feeling. So anyway, the quickest way to change a feeling that you don't want to have is to change your thoughts. And the other thing that I do is I ask help from my creator, because sometimes it's almost impossible to get rid of some thoughts, some feelings, almost impossible, because they just won't go away by themselves. It's not a natural thing for me to naturally just get rid of a feeling. So I usually ask help from my creator, because I know he understands me. He made me. He understands me more than I understand myself. But the main thing here is that feelings / emotions are created by thoughts, and not the other way around. It's not, feelings don't just come out of nowhere. There has to be like a thought, and sometimes you can, I know there's one thing what they call intuition, right? Intuition, you just feel like there's something is going on, when it comes to that, then your mind is on autopilot on a thought. Your mind, without you knowing, came up, had a thought and then passed your feeling. Like it sensed something was going on, intuition, and then gave you a feeling. So it's letting you know what it's thinking. The subconscious is letting you know what it's sensing with a feeling. Otherwise, if it just had the thought without the feeling, you would never know, what is going on. So feeling, just like if your car didn't have a gauge to let you know the level of gas in your gas tank, you would never know when it was time to fill up, or when it was, or when you were okay on gas. So that's what it is. It's that. And then your willpower is the ability to make decisions, the ability to choose to do something against your feelings. Say, for example, you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, like, for example, go to work or go to school or do something that it's important, but deep down inside you don't want to do it. Your willpower will help you to overcome that. Your willpower is the ability to just get up and go. I want to call it energy, but it's the get up and go. What's the word I can use here? More spiritual aspect, or energy, or ability. To just tell yourself, do this, do that. That's it's the get up and go energy, for lack of a better term. It's the thing that makes you do whatever it is that you need to do. And also at the same time, you also make decisions in your so because the thing is this: you can make a decision but not get up and go. You can choose, okay, I want to go to start a business today, but you don't. You just made a decision. But when you use your willpower to get up and go, then you get up and go. So decision and the willpower are two different things. They have to work together. So that's your soul, and your soul is you. That's the real you. That's the part that's the part that says, sometimes you say, my spirit is feeling this, my body is hurting. What's that part that says my? Who's that saying my body? Who's that saying my spirit? What's that? What's that says that? It's your soul. It's your soul. Your body belongs to your soul. Your spirit belongs to your soul. I mean, we all in general belong to a creator, but your soul is the one in the middle. It's the one that owns the physical body and the spiritual body. So it's really important for you to keep it at utmost condition. And the main thing to work on is your mind. Because when you work on your mind will work on your thoughts, and your thoughts will work on your feelings will work on your decisions, and your decisions will work on your willpower, right? Because once you think correctly, then you have the right feelings, because when you have a good feeling about something, it becomes easy to do. Then you'll make the right decisions, and then the willpower won't be fighting you. You wouldn't be fighting with your willpower to go ahead and do whatever it is that you need to do. For example, say you don't want to go to work in the morning. It's Monday morning. You've had a great weekend, fun, and now it's time to go back to your job. You could have thoughts of, I hate my job, I don't like my job, I don't want to go, and that gives you the negative feelings. That makes you want to decide that you want to call in. And then after that, your willpower, even though it knows that you need to go, will be overcome. But if you switch it to go oh, you know what? If I go to work today, by the end of the week, when I get my paycheck, I might feel bad going to work, but I will not feel bad when I look at the paycheck because I went to work today. My paycheck will make me be glad that I didn't stay home today. So I don't want to go, but if I don't go, I will not like what the paycheck will look like at the end of the week, at the end of the month, my salary. I won't like what it looks like. So if you change, you just change you looked at the same situation in two different aspects. If you look at it that way, then you change the way you feel about it. And then making a decision about it becomes easy, and your willpower just kind of gets you, okay, get up and go, because you want to not feel regret when you get your pay slip. So that's what it is. You have to work on your mind, and then it trickles all the way down. To your feelings / emotions, your reasoning, and then your willpower. So your emotions, they talk about having like emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is really when you don't allow your emotions to control you. Because some people, they have it the other way around. They put emotions first and maybe thoughts second, or maybe thoughts not even on the list at all. But it's so emotional intelligence is to realize that I don't want to my feelings should not control me. I should control my feelings, right? It doesn't mean that feelings are bad. It doesn't mean that you don't accept them. It doesn't mean that you don't give them any attention. It just means that they are just a gauge. That's all they are. It's just a gauge of what your thought life is at that particular moment. That's what really it is. And if your thinking is full of wisdom and full of knowledge and full of understanding, then it'll be easy to control your emotions. And it doesn't mean that just because you know this, that it's gonna be easy, but it's not gonna make it. It kind of does make it easy in a way, because knowledge is power, but applied knowledge and understanding is even more powerful. But once you get to where you can do that, then when it comes to the 7 aspects of life, then you'll be able to, if there's any trouble you're having in your soul, you'll be able to troubleshoot. You'll be able to maintain the level of soul prosperity, that you're at, and you'll be able to take it to the next level. That's what that really is, because you don't want your soul to be a stumbling block, in the 7 aspects. Because when one of your aspects is a stumbling block, then it kind of has a domino effect on everything else. If one of your aspects is not where it needs to be, it affects all the others. If my thoughts are not correct, then it affects the way I deal with my finances. It affects the way I deal with myself and others. It affects the way I rest. It affects the way I pass on information that I need to pass on to others. It affects my spirit. So that's the main thing that we need to like really take care of, is the way we think. Constantly feeding yourself with information, understanding, not just information, understanding what you're learning, and implementing it on your day-to-day activities as you continue to live your purpose and serve it to others, and chase your dreams and fulfilling your goals. So that's what I would really say for now about the soul. Just an introduction of it. Obviously, there will be more videos. I'll go into more details, and I'm probably going to talk about every subsection of the soul, individually in the future. And with that, I believe this video is done, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.